Hi everyone, Mike Stuchiner, Master Herbalist here with Z Natural Foods. And today's video is going to be on the topic of what is better, a protein concentrate or a protein isolate. But before we get started, I do need to mention two things. One, for more information about me, please go to my YouTube channel at A Master Herbalist's Perspective. And number two is our health disclaimer, which is the information you're about to receive is for educational purposes only and is not intended to treat, prescribe, or diagnose any specific or general medical conditions. It is also not intended to be a replacement for your primary healthcare provider's diagnosis, treatment protocol, and medical information. With that said, let's get started. Some of the more popular questions we get at Z Natural Foods are related to the benefits and uses of protein powders. While deciding which source of protein powders is best for you may seem like your top priority, a related topic regarding the differences between a protein concentrate and isolate might actually be more important when attempting to maximize your protein powder benefits. So today I'm going to answer the question of what is better, a protein concentrate or isolate? As always, I don't just answer your questions. I give you a thorough explanation as to why and provide critical details necessary to understand what you are about to hear. In simple terms, how we define better in this specific particular case is relative to the individual's goals, how well that individual utilizes what they consume, and the purpose for using a specific form of protein at a particular time. To answer this question correctly, let's review a few fun facts about protein and the role that it plays in the big picture. So let's begin with denatured versus undenatured protein. Denatured protein is the alteration in folding patterns of protein by heat or chemical reaction from its original formation. Protein function depends on its structural shape, and heat causes proteins to what is known as vibrate, weakening the bonds that hold this complex shape. Undenatured protein is pure, properly functioning proteins without structural deformation, with all bioavailable nutrients and constituents available. It is important to note that we at ZNF do not use the term unprocessed to define an undenatured protein because everything goes through some processing to create an end product. For example, whey protein isolate goes through a very precise filtration process, removing the lactose and producing an end product yielding a higher amount of protein per serving with less fat and carbohydrates. Undenatured protein is the purest form containing all bioactive compounds as nature intended, like beta lactoglobulins, alpha lactobumin, immunoglobulins, and lactoferrin in a perfectly balanced state. A protein denatured through cooking with heat or some other process is not necessarily a bad thing. For example, a hard-boiled egg is regarded as a form of denatured protein. The heat used to make the hard-boiled egg changed its structural integrity, but overall, it's still an excellent nutritional, it still has excellent nutritional value and all the amino acids necessary to form a complete protein. Essential and non-essential amino acids and protein storage. There are 20 different amino acids that your body needs for various functions. 11 of the 20 are produced by the body, called non-essential amino acids. The other 9, called essential amino acids, we get from food because the body cannot produce them on its own. Proteins are not stored for later use. the body converts excess protein into glucose and triglycerides to supply energy and build energy reserves. When we eat a complete source of protein, the body breaks it down into amino acids to create muscle protein, along with a host of other proteins in the body for what is known as enzymatic reactions. The 9 essential amino acids also acts as what are known as regulatory signaling molecules. All the body is concerned about is having all 9 essential amino acids when creating muscle and enzyme proteins. The overall result is the same whether the protein comes from one source or, which would be like an egg or meat or whey protein, or a combination of sources like plant proteins. To be clear, this is not me saying that other factors don't affect the value and utilization of different sources of protein. It's just what I am trying to sort of send out there as a message is, in the bigger picture, the body ultimately really does not know the difference. As long as those amino acids are present, the body can do the job it needs to do. So, the difference between a protein powder concentrate and isolate. Comparing a protein isolate and concentrate comes down to what you gain versus what you lose ultimately. As stated earlier in this video, protein powder concentrates are considered the closest end product for what nature intended to provide us as a high quality source of protein with all cofactors and constituents available for a balanced and complete source of nourishment. The term concentrate, though, can be slightly misleading, as it's implying that the consumer is getting a quantitatively more significant amount of protein. This is simply not the case. You are getting a more well-rounded end product with a greater spectrum of uses that may benefit overall well-being. Protein isolates are a more refined product yielding a higher amount of protein with the goal of specific targeted actions and applications. Generally speaking, whey protein, as an example, here are some of the primary simple facts for what you get in an isolate and a concentrate. Whey protein isolate is a complete protein yielding approximately 90% protein concentration. It contains no fat and carbohydrate unless some is added in. It is high in branched chain amino acids, especially leucine. It is considered an undenatured protein. However, if the raw material company uses a filtration process that uses heating components, it may denature the protein. Because components like beta-lactoglobulin, alpha-lactoalbumin, and immunoglobulins and lactoferrin are proteins by definition, contrary to popular opinion, whey protein isolate does contain these critical factors, just in smaller amounts. Whey isolate may contain tiny amounts of lactose as well. Whey protein concentrate is a complete protein yielding approximately an 80% protein concentrate. Approximately 3 grams of carbohydrates and 2 grams of fat per average serving. Whey protein concentrate has many other components in fairly high amounts, like, as mentioned before, beta-lactoglobulins, alpha-lactoalbumins, immunoglobulins, and lactoferrin. It is a quality source of branched chain amino acids, and it is an undenatured protein. Once again, whey concentrate does contain lactose. Therefore, the difference between isolate and concentrate comes down to the 3 following ideas. How much protein, carbohydrates, and fats you're getting in a product, the intrinsic details about the conditions under which the product is produced to create the end product, and the individual's specific goals. So this leads me to another area of this video I wanted to discuss, which is easier to digest, whey isolate or whey concentrate. As stated in previous protein articles that I have done, the biological value of protein is one of many markers that determine how well we use protein. Biological value measures how efficiently the body utilizes each source of protein from the diet. Foods with a high biological value correlation Foods with a high biological value correlate to an increased supply of essential amino acids. The equation of biological value is calculated from the nitrogen used from tissue formation divided by the nitrogen absorbed from food, then multiplied by 100. In simple terms, it's the percentage of nitrogen utilized. Nitrogen is a core component of amino acids, the building block of protein and nucleic acid, and the building block of genetic material. Whey protein, as an example, has a biological value of 104. Generally, each individual's ability to digest whey can vary significantly based on factors like lactose, protein concentration, carbohydrate sensitivity, and the effects on blood sugar levels. For those who tolerate whey protein well, the isolate version seems easier to digest and more efficient to utilize due to the absence of fat and carbohydrates. Whey concentrate contains a more significant amount of lactose and some fats and carbohydrates. Therefore, some individuals may not be as efficient at utilizing this form of protein, especially if they are lactose intolerant. If the protein is producing gas, bloating, and goes right through you within 2 hours of ingestion, this may not be the best source of protein to optimize your results. Please keep in mind one factor. Many people have incredibly mild or delayed reaction to foods that may not appear as more significant problems for years. Therefore, it would take a lot of work to connect the dots. In the end, if you see progression of good results, you are certainly on the right track. Is whey concentrate or whey isolate better for muscle gaining? The answer to this question is not a matter of which is better for muscle gaining, but more importantly, what is the most appropriate time to use each form of protein in order to maximize your benefits and results? There are various theories on this topic. The answer to this question is quite convoluted and depends on a few different factors. The form of whey or other milk-based protein powders being used, in other words, whey concentrate, isolate, a hydrolyzed whey, or a casein, and your goals intended: muscle gain, weight loss, blood sugar control, supporting a healthy immune system. All of these things play a vital role in the overall end results. Whey protein isolate is your choice if you want to help with muscle recovery post-workout, because it is an isolated form of protein that yields a higher amount of protein and is void of carbohydrates and fats, allowing for faster absorption. While there are mixed opinions about exactly how quickly you should ingest whey post-workout, consuming it within 1 hour would be optimal. Adding a carbohydrate source to your protein shake to replenish glycogen is often also a most advisable suggestion. If you're creating an intra-workout drink, which means a drink that you consume throughout the workout, then using a high molecular weight carbohydrate like a highly branched cyclic dextrin with a hydrolyzed whey protein will provide the glycogen and amino acids needed for recovery. To support recovery when you're asleep, Drinking whey concentrate or a casein protein is a good choice, as those will act slower, more as what some might consider a time-released form of protein, to provide the body with essential nourishment throughout the night. Because you are getting so many essential nutrients and compounds, high quality protein, and a good source of fat, whey concentrate is ideal for supporting a healthy immune system and recovery. In conclusion, gang, whether you're consuming an isolated or concentrated form of whey protein, you will provide your body with a wide range of nourishing compounds to support overall well-being. After all these years, it looks like Little Miss Muffet and the spider that sat down beside her got it right, as you better eat your curds and whey. Mike Stuchiner, Master Herbalist, here with Z Natural Foods. I'll see you next time.